One of the strangest and most baffling criminal cases in modern American history is the story of Brian Douglas Wells. He was a 46-year-old pizza deliveryman from Erie, Pennsylvania. What began as a seemingly ordinary delivery on August 28, 2003, quickly spiraled into one of the most bizarre criminal conspiracies ever recorded. It was a case centered on a bank robbery and this man named Brian Douglas Wells, who was forced to wear a neck bomb. The situation escalated into an alleged deadly scavenger hunt that ultimately ended with Wells' shocking death, which was broadcast live on television. Let's dive into the story. On that fateful afternoon, Brian Wells received a delivery call to a remote area at the end of Peach Street, near a transmission tower. He drove there in his car to deliver 2 pizzas. What happened next remains a point of controversy. But what's known is that Wells was subdued by several people, and a metal collar bomb was forcibly locked around his neck. Shortly after, Wells appeared at the PNC Bank in Erie, carrying a homemade cane that concealed a shotgun. He handed a teller a note demanding $250,000 and claimed that if he didn't follow instructions, the bomb would detonate. The note warned that the bomb was on a timer and that police should not be alerted. Wells calmly collected about $8,700, far less than demanded, and left the bank. Within minutes, he was surrounded by police in a nearby parking lot. He appeared frightened, repeatedly telling officers that someone had forced him into the situation and that the bomb was real. Despite a desperate effort to secure a bomb squad, the device detonated moments before their arrival, instantly killing Wells. The horrifying, televised scene sent shockwaves across the nation. Initially, many believed Wells was a victim, a man forced at gunpoint into committing a crime he had no part in planning. However, as investigators delved deeper, the story became far more twisted. The notes found on Wells were detailed and bizarre, laying out what appeared to be a scavenger hunt. He was supposedly required to complete a series of tasks to collect keys and combination codes to deactivate the bomb. The instructions sent him across various points in Erie, but by the time investigators retraced his path, it became clear that the hunt was nearly impossible to complete within the short time given, suggesting it was merely a cruel illusion. As the investigation unfolded, the FBI, ATF, and local law enforcement discovered that several eccentric locals might have been involved in a larger criminal conspiracy. Central to the case was Marjorie Deal Armstrong, a highly intelligent but mentally unstable woman with a history of violent behavior. She was connected to another key suspect, Bill Rothstein, a handyman who lived near the location where Wells made his final pizza delivery. Rothstein's involvement came to light when he reported a body in his freezer, and that was James Roden, Deal Armstrong's ex-boyfriend. She had allegedly killed Roden to prevent him from exposing her role in the bomb plot. According to Rothstein, Deal Armstrong enlisted his help in hiding the body, though he denied participating in the bomb incident. Further investigation linked both of them to the bomb plot. Authorities theorized that Deal Armstrong and Rothstein, along with other accomplices such as Kenneth Barnes, who was a friend and crack dealer, had devised the plan to rob the bank and later eliminate any witnesses, including Wells. Deal Armstrong later claimed that Wells was in on the plan, believing the bomb was fake and that he would share in the stolen money. However, many investigators believe that Wells was an unwilling participant, tricked and coerced into a plot that ultimately cost him his life. In 2007, federal authorities charged Marjorie Deal Armstrong and Kenneth Barnes with the conspiracy that led to Brian Wells' death. Rothstein had already died of cancer in 2004, effectively taking much of the truth to his grave. Barnes eventually confessed to his role, admitting that the robbery was Deal Armstrong's idea to get money to pay him for killing her father. Deal Armstrong was convicted in 2010 and sentenced to life in prison, where she died in 2017. Despite the convictions, significant questions remain unanswered. Did Wells truly know about the plan beforehand? Was he a willing participant or simply a victim of manipulation? The truth may never be fully known. The case became known as the pizza bomber or collar bomb case and has been the subject of documentaries, books, and the 2018 Netflix series, Evil Genius. The public's fascination stems from its bizarre combination of small-town crime, intricate planning, and psychological manipulation. Investigators later described it as one of the most complicated and bizarre crimes in FBI history. The death of Brian Wells remains one of America's most haunting mysteries. A story that blurs the line between victim and conspirator, and between genius and madness. It exposes the dark side of human greed and manipulation, showing how a seemingly simple man became trapped in a deadly web of deceit and control. Even 2 decades later, the pizza bomber case continues to raise disturbing questions about trust, morality, and the terrifying reality of being caught in a plan too elaborate and too cruel to escape. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.